The flood of COVID-19 hospital admissions may have slowed to manageable proportions, but in the fight to control the pandemic, day-to-day admissions have been put to one side. Now that's left tens of thousands of people across the region on hospital waiting lists, and the numbers are on the rise. So how do our hospitals get back to normal and still manage coronavirus? Our health correspondent Alistair Fee reports from the Royal Bournemouth Hospital.
Just look down for me.
Mike has been waiting for an operation that will save the sight in his right eye.
I've got trauma-induced glaucoma, which increases the pressure in the eye, and which means if it's untreated, I will eventually go blind in that eye.
His surgery was cancelled in March.
Just actually now glad to be here, and we don't know what's going to happen in the future, so there's potential the hospitals could get busy again. We hope not, but that could happen, so I'm just relieved to actually get it in now.
The big pressure is the reduced capacity that we now have because of COVID. Before COVID, we were having to see as many patients as we could to keep on top of waiting lists and backlogs. We've had to separate out patients to give them more space and more time, and that's led to a reduction in capacity.
So patients are being rated to see who is most at risk.
Just creating space within the wall of the eye, so underneath the surface layer.
Mike is among the first to return for urgent elective surgery. Mike is one of 4 patients in surgery today. Pre-COVID, they were seeing up to 40, and even then it was difficult to manage the waiting list.
In the past, waiting rooms were packed, clinics overran. The way we will provide healthcare has changed and will remain like that. Have to space people out, try to keep people out of hospital who don't need to come into hospital. And so the lower risk patients hopefully will be able to see in the community.
While emergency care has continued, in this clinic alone there are currently 5,500 people on the waiting list. 4,000 outpatient appointments were cancelled in the last 2 months. In that time, 1,300 patients made cancellations because of coronavirus. Across the hospital, just 2/3 of the beds are being used, and only 6 of all 15 theatres.
The challenge for us is to go through those that we're waiting to make sure that they remain safe, that they're not, that their situation hasn't changed, and then try and prioritise the treatment of those. But at the same time, being aware that there are an awful lot more new referrals that are going to come into us that we also need to manage at the same time.
Hiya, Mr. Stevens. How are you?
It's been an interesting period in terms of I needed the operation, so you worry about the operation, and then you worry about sort of COVID and what might happen there. We're all just trying to get through this period, so I mean once again I'm just pleased to have had the operation done.
Mike's operation has been a success, but there are many people like him who need care. The pre-COVID capacity to see patients isn't likely to return until sometime next year. Alistair Fee, BBC South Today.